Be careful who you trust. A prophetic warning was given about a deceptive leader, a wolf in sheep's clothing, operating in plain sight. Here are the 5 signs to look for. This is a serious spiritual alert for the discerning believer. In every flock, the enemy tries to plant a predator. This is not a new tactic. The Apostle Paul warned about it centuries ago. A wolf in sheep's clothing is someone who looks like a believer, talks like a believer, and may even hold a position of leadership. But their heart is driven by a spirit of greed, control, and self-promotion. They are masters of disguise, experts in spiritual manipulation. Their goal is not to feed the sheep, but to fleece them, to use their trust and their resources for their own gain. The stakes are your spiritual health and your relationship with God. A wolf can cause immense damage, leaving behind a trail of wounded, confused, and disillusioned believers. This prophetic warning is being released to equip you with the discernment to identify these predators and protect yourself and your family from their influence. You must learn to look beyond the charisma and inspect the character. The first and most telling sign of a wolf in sheep's clothing is that their teaching consistently appeals to your flesh, not your spirit. They will preach a gospel of constant gain with no pain, of rights with no responsibility, of blessing with no sacrifice. Their messages are designed to make you feel good, to tickle your ears, but they will rarely challenge you to live a holier life, to die to your selfish nature, or to take up your cross and follow Christ. Imagine eating a diet of nothing but candy. It tastes good in the moment, but it provides no real nourishment and eventually makes you sick. The wolf's teaching is spiritual candy. It lacks the protein of true biblical doctrine. A true shepherd will lead you to green pastures and still waters, but they will also lead you through the valley of the shadow of death, knowing that it is necessary for your growth. A wolf will always avoid the valley. They will only preach about the mountaintop. This lack of spiritual depth is a major red flag, but their tactics go beyond their teaching. The second sign is a subtle but persistent spirit of control and manipulation. A true shepherd leads the sheep, a wolf drives them. The wolf will use guilt, shame, and the spiritual intimidation to control your decisions. They will often isolate you from outside voices, suggesting that they are the only ones who can hear from God for you. They will create a culture of dependency, where you feel you need their approval for every major life choice. The feeling is one of constriction, of being in a spiritual cage. You will feel a loss of your own spiritual autonomy. A true shepherd empowers you to hear from God for yourself. A wolf disempowers you and makes you dependent on them. Be wary of any leader who demands a level of loyalty that belongs only to God. This controlling spirit is the spirit of a predator, not a pastor. The third sign is a clear and consistent pattern of hypocrisy. The wolf will preach a standard that they themselves do not live by. They will demand sacrifice from the congregation, but live a life of lavish self-indulgence. They will preach forgiveness, but harbor bitter grudges. They will demand transparency, but live a life shrouded in secrecy. Jesus said, "You will know them by their fruits." The wolf's fruit is the rotten fruit of a double standard. You must be willing to look at their life, not just listen to their sermons. Does their private life align with their public persona? Is there evidence of humility, integrity, and genuine love in their relationships? Or is there a trail of broken promises, financial scandals, and wounded people? The feeling is like noticing a crack in a beautiful vase. From a distance, it looks perfect, but up close, you can see the flaw that compromises its integrity. Do not ignore the cracks. They reveal the true nature of the vessel. The fourth sign is an unhealthy obsession with money. While true shepherds understand the importance of funding the vision, a wolf is driven by greed. Their messages will almost always circle back to fundraising. They will use manipulative tactics, false prophecies, and emotional appeals to pressure the congregation into giving. There will be an emphasis on seed faith, that is transactional, promising that if you give to them, God will give back to you 100-fold. This commercialization of the gospel is a hallmark of the wolf. They see the flock not as people to be loved, but as a product to be monetized. You will feel more like a customer than a congregant, a potential donor, rather than a beloved child of God. This relentless focus on money reveals that their kingdom is of this world, not of heaven. Finally, the fifth sign is a complete inability to receive correction. A true shepherd has a humble and teachable spirit. They are submitted to authority and are open to being corrected. A wolf is accountable to no one. They will surround themselves with yes men who will never challenge them. If you try to ask a legitimate question or raise a concern, you will be labeled as rebellious, divisive, or unsubmissive. They are masters at turning the tables and making you the problem. This spiritual pride is a blaring alarm. A leader who cannot be corrected is a leader who is dangerous. They have made themselves an idol, and they will demand that you worship them. This is the ultimate betrayal of their calling. These 5 signs are a divine checklist for your protection. Pray for discernment. The Holy Spirit is your internal lie detector. If you recognize these signs in a leader, do not engage in a public fight. Quietly and prayerfully remove yourself and your family from their influence. Your spiritual safety is your responsibility. If this prophetic warning has opened your eyes, subscribe and share it. We are committed to speaking the truth, even when it's uncomfortable, to protect the flock of God. Stay safe and stay discerning.